Little aside. John 10, so the Yehudim surrounded him and said to him, how long do you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, say to us plainly. Yeshua answered them, I have told you, and you do not believe. So first he's claiming that he is the Messiah. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness according to me. But you do not believe, because you are not of my sheep, as I said to you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. He's quoting Ezekiel. Go read Ezekiel and all the shepherd verses. And I give them everlasting life, and they shall by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand. He's saying, I will give them everlasting life. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. Again, the Yehudim picked up stones to stone him. Yeshua answered them, many good works I have shown you from my Father. Because of which of these works do you stone me? The Yehudim answered him, we do not stone you for a good work, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself Elohim. That's the accusation. Again, the Pharisees know what he's saying. John 17, I have esteemed you on the earth, having accomplished the work you have given me that I should do. And now esteem me with yourself, Father, with the esteem which I have had with you before the world was. Please esteem me with the esteem which I had with you before the world was. Again, what did we read? The word was with Elohim and was Elohim. John 18, Yehudah then, having received the company of soldiers and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees. By the way, previously, let's back up. Yeshua was saying he was there in the creation. That's what he's saying. He knew he was there. Yehudah, then having received the company of soldiers and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, came there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Yeshua then, knowing that all would come upon him, went forward and said to them, whom do you seek? And they answered him, Yeshua of Nazareth. Yeshua said to them, I am. And Yehudah, who delivered him up, was also standing with them. When therefore he said to them, I am, they drew back and fell to the ground. I remember when I was like, when was this verse put there? They fell down to the ground when he said, I am. Have a guess why? Once more he asked them, whom do you seek? And they said, Yeshua of Nazareth. Yeshua answered, I said to you that I am. If then you seek me, allow these to go. Why would saying your name make people fall to the floor, unless that was the name? Finally, but Yeshua remained silent. So the high priest said to him, I put you to oath by the living Elohim that you say to us, if you are the Messiah, the son of Elohim. Yeshua said to him, you have said it. Besides, I say to you, from now on you shall see the son of Adam sitting at the right hand of the power and coming on the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest tore his garment, saying, he has blasphemed. Why do we need any more witnesses? See, now you have heard his blasphemy. What do you think? And they answering said, he is liable to death. Now, which bit of verse 64 was it that made him coming on the clouds? It wasn't the fact that he was Messiah that they called blasphemy. The phrase coming on the clouds was reserved to deity alone. He's saying that you'll see the son of Adam coming on the clouds of heaven. In fact, he's calling himself son of man. Go read the book of Daniel. I love how Mark puts this little account. It's like an added little detail. But he remained silent, gave no answer. Again, the high priest asked him, saying, are you the Messiah, the son of the blessed? And Yeshua said, I am. I like that, I am. And you shall see the son of Adam sitting at the right hand of the power and coming with the clouds of heaven. Again, same reaction. He tears his garments. You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they condemned him to be liable for death. John called Yeshua the Word. The Word was considered the veiled or dimmed manifestation of the eternal Elohim in our fallen world. Does that make sense? The Word was considered Yah plugging himself in. Therefore, John was saying that Yeshua was Yah. That's simple logical steps. Yeshua equated himself to divinity, as we've just seen. Yeshua called himself I am over and over. The Pharisees fully understood what he was saying. Like we miss this in the thing. Like people don't want to say that Yeshua was just a man. Completely. How do you read over this? What was he being accused of? Blasphemy. He made himself God. This is where someone's faith in Yeshua as Messiah is either strengthened or destroyed. Because if you believe that Yeshua was just a man, that's not what Messiah is saying. If you claim to follow Messiah, you have to follow what he said. He didn't make himself just a man. We'll cover this. If you claim Yeshua to be the son of Elohim and the Messiah, you must accept what he said, taught, and claimed. Right? That's the way it works. I follow you, I accept what you say, and I believe it, and I live my life by it. To say that he was not pre-existent is to go against his claims. He said, give me the esteem that I had before the world was. Right there, he's claiming to be pre-existent, before creation. So you have to accept that if you claim Yeshua is your Messiah. You have to. It's to go against the understanding of what and who the Word is. To say Yeshua is just a man is to say that, well, actually John's a liar when he said that the Word put on flesh. That's what you're saying. Can you see why I'm saying this will either strengthen your faith or destroy it? This is actually can be a dangerous teaching. Okay, Yeshua, a man. Let's cover this quickly. I am not denying that Yeshua was a man. Right there, Yeshua was fully man. Fully man. I'm not denying that. The Word became flesh. He didn't say the Word became flesh but still had his... He became a man and pitched his tent among us. I'm not denying that. This is part of the amazing revelation that Yah would actually do this. Yah in all his glory, and basically he becomes a pitiful human being prone to illness, has to go to the toilet and become ill. Did you see what I mean? It's literally like the human being becoming the amoeba. That's the equivalent. Hebrews says, so in every way he had to be made like his brothers in order to become a compassionate and trustworthy high priest in matters related to Elohim to make atonement for the sins of his people. He had to become fully like us. For in what he suffered, himself being tried, he is able to help those who are tried. By this you know the spirit of Elohim. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua Messiah has come in the flesh is of Elohim. By the way, if Yeshua was just a man and wasn't pre-existent, what's the point of this? I've come in the flesh. You've come in the flesh. We've all come in the flesh. That's not special. I'm sorry, guys. We're not special when we come in the flesh. What's so special about Yeshua coming in the flesh, right? And every spirit that does not confess Yeshua Messiah has come in the flesh is not of Elohim. This is the spirit of anti-Messiah, which you heard is coming, and now is already in the world. This was going on in John's day. So what we've got here is nothing new. When Yeshua came, he was fully man. You cannot deny that. This actually explains why he had to pray to the Father. Right. For him to be fully on our level, do you have special access to the... Does anyone here have special access to Yah right now? Exactly. So for Yeshua to be on our level, this means he had to be separated. This is where the separation comes in. I'm not denying, but again, the word puts on flesh. If it helps, this is how I visualize it in my mind. You have the big bucket of water, and that's the eternal. And the bucket cannot fit in our little existence, so he pours himself into a glass, and the glass goes in, but the bucket is not depleted. Does that make sense? There's still the same amount of water, but the glass... So there is that separation, but it's Yah plugging himself in. It's Yah, but there is that separation. But this is where we cannot fathom it. Pitt uses the analogy of the candle lighting another candle, the big flame lighting the smaller flame. This is where we can argue and bicker and divide. This is where we need to really get down to the simple things of, is Yeshua Yah in the flesh? Yes, he is. Did he become fully man? Yes, he did. How that works? This is where the Jewish people were willing to leave the question mark. How is the word separate from Yah, but yet Yah, he's plugging himself in? That's the best way I can describe it. He's making himself presentable to his creation so he doesn't kill us. I will not deny his pre-existence or him being the word, and by extension the manifestation of Yah. This is where, these are the basic things we need to accept. Yes, he's Yah. Yes, he fully became man, but he is Yah. The rest is kind of splitting hairs, shall we say, right? I will also not claim that he was created as he is a manifestation of Yah in the flesh. What I will say is that Yah began to interact with his creation, and that took on the form of the word. And then when that word fully became man, he became a man. So as his interaction as a man began, does that make sense? Yah's interaction as a man began, but Yah was always there all along. This is what he claimed, and this is what his disciples taught. That's what he claimed. To say otherwise is can you see why he will either make a faith or destroy it? We have to be, if you're intellectually honest with what Yeshua said and his disciples said, that's what it's saying. The belief that Yeshua was not pre-existent and was simply just a man is called adoptionism. Adoptionism states that Yeshua was just a man and was adopted or became the son of Elohim at his baptism, resurrection, or ascension. So there's 3 variations. But basically he was just some dude, happened to not sin at all, and either when he was baptized, resurrected, or ascended, that's when he became the son of God and adopted into godhood. Yeah, 30 years, fancy that. This is where this comes from. And this doctrine did not come about until the end of the 2nd century. That's just how it is. This doctrine is widespread in Messianic/Torah movement, widespread. We've encountered this very personally. The word was understood as a veiled, dimmed, or shrouded form of Elohim. It was how Yah, infinite in nature and power, manifested himself in a fallen and finite world. It's how he plugs himself in. It was how he could interact with his creation without destroying it. I like the analogy that Curtis gave to us of the man in the ant farm. Yah is the man and we're the ants in the ant farm. And have you tried picking up an ant? What happens? You usually end up killing it, right? So it is. Yah cannot interact with us directly. This is part of the amazing part of the gospel, that we can actually become like the angels and like him, that he made. When you start understanding this, I was just thinking, oh my goodness, the good news really is, it's been really shaking me to the core, actually. It feels like I'm hearing it for the first time again. When you start meditating on this, that Yah, the infinite, came down to our level because he wanted to interact with you and bring you back unto him. The word is Yah. John stated that the word put on flesh and that it was Yeshua. By virtue of the word being Yah, this means that Yeshua is Yah.